Okay, so we've already talked about lines and the angle relationships that are created when you have a transversal. Now we're going to build on that, and we are going to have parallel lines. Cut by a transversal. And the special angle relationships that are created. Okay, so just like the last one, we are going to talk about those four types. We have the alternate interior angles. We have alternate exterior angles. We have same side interior. Remember, I also call them consecutive interior. And then finally, we have the corresponding angles. Okay, so certain things happen when we have parallel lines. So we haven't talked anything about parallel yet, but the way that you can tell if lines are parallel is you will see, usually it's like red or blue, but you'll see like little triangles that are colored in. So that means those lines are parallel. This is a triangle, by the way. Okay, so if I cut that by a transversal, so I'm going to zip a transversal through here. And again, so that we have something to talk about, I'm going to label this as M, N, and T. So I would say that lines M is parallel to N with transversal T. Okay, so this symbol, two longer vertical lines, is the symbol for parallel. Okay, so I'm just going to chuck in some angle measurement. Let's say that this is 30. Well, because of what we've already learned, these two angles then would have a special relationship, and they are a linear pair. And we know a linear pair are also supplementary. So if this is 30, then this has to equal 180 with it. So that means that this would be 150. We also know then, because of another relationship, that these are vertical angles, so that means that they are congruent. And if you notice, these are still a linear pair, so they still are supplementary. And we have vertical angles again. What is unique about this is that whatever this little cluster is, I could pick up that whole cluster and move it to the other one. So if this one in the upper right is 30, so is that one. That's 150. These are vertical. There's 30. And then this one has to be 150 as well. So if we go back to what we know about alternate interior angles, so that would be like 30, that'd be like these two. So, well, this one's 30 and this one's 30. So if lines are parallel, then I can say that alternate interior angles are congruent. So 30, 30, 150, and 150. Alternate exterior angles. So if lines are parallel, then So alternate exteriors would be like these two or these two. So again, alternate exterior angles are congruent. Same side interior means that they are both on the interior, excuse me, both on the interior and are on the same side of the transversal. So that means a 30 and a 150. Well, these aren't congruent. They do add up to 180, so that means that they are supplementary. So same side interior or consecutive interior angles are supplementary if the lines are parallel. And corresponding angles would be like this 150 and this 150. So corresponding angles are also congruent. Okay, so just remember that if the lines are parallel, then all of these special relationships happen. These are congruent, alternate exteriors are congruent, corresponding angles are congruent, same side interior, they are supplementary. Okay, let's go on to some examples. So this means that they're parallel. I'm going to go ahead and label or number the angles. So if we need to identify a pair of alternate interior angles, and usually you'll see me abbreviating. So a pair of alternate interior angles. If the lines are parallel, I can say that angle 3 is congruent to angle 6. I can also say that angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. I'm looking at, let's do corresponding angles. So corresponding angles in this situation would be 1 and 5. So I can say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. I can say that angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. And finally, angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. Let's move on to alternate exteriors. So alternate exteriors, I can say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. And I can say angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. And finally, we have same side interior or consecutive interior. So that'd be like 3 and 5. So I can say that the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 5 equals 180. I could also say that the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 6 equals 180. So you're probably going to want to be using these in order to set up some equations. I'm going to do another video that has like algebraic examples in there. So we're going to keep that and stop.